Hello everyone! Today we're putting the new Huawei Pura 90 Pro Max through a full camera test. And honestly, there's something pretty interesting happening in the flagship phone market this year. Huawei has officially dropped the Ultra branding and replaced it with the new Pro Max name for its top-tier model. But the real headline here is the brand new 200-megapixel telephoto camera. What's even more interesting is that almost every major flagship phone this year seems to be moving toward 200-megapixel telephoto sensors. So the big question is, how good is Huawei's latest camera system in real-world photography? To find out, we're comparing it directly against another heavyweight flagship, the Xiaomi 17 Ultra, to see where each phone shines and where they fall short.
A quick shout out to my tech partner from China for sharing this video. A big thank you for making this possible. Hey everyone, it's Maiky from techmaiky. If you love staying updated with the latest gadgets, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss out our exciting tech content.
Before we dive into the photo comparisons, let's quickly go over the camera hardware. I've already placed all the detailed specs on screen so you can check them out easily. The Huawei Pura 90 Pro Max still uses Huawei's variable aperture main camera setup, but this time the adjustable range has been expanded compared to the previous 80 Ultra. Now it can switch between f1.4 and f4.0. The telephoto camera also gets a huge upgrade with a large 200-megapixel sensor supporting 4 times optical zoom, along with Huawei's second-generation Hongfeng original color imaging system. Meanwhile, Xiaomi's 17 Ultra continues using a massive 1-inch main sensor. Its telephoto camera is also 200 megapixels, but Xiaomi takes a different approach. Instead of sticking to one optical focal length, Xiaomi supports continuous optical zoom between 75mm and 100mm, which is still a pretty advanced feature in smartphones right now. Huawei's main camera shoots at a 24mm focal length, while Xiaomi comes in at 23mm, so the field of view difference is extremely small. The real distinction appears in the image processing and color style. Huawei delivers a brighter and cleaner image overall. The greens in the background look lively and soft under sunlight, very close to what you'd naturally see with your eyes. Xiaomi, on the other hand, produces darker greens with heavier saturation, giving the image a richer but moodier appearance. Now, if the earlier Leaf photos mainly came down to personal preference in color tuning, the close-up flower shots reveal something more serious. And honestly, both phones struggle here, just in different ways. Huawei's Pura 90 Pro Max automatically switched to f4.0 using its smart aperture system, and together with the RYYB sensor advantage in low light, it captured the flower's stamen with incredible sharpness and detail. But there's a major issue. The red petals became overly saturated. The color looks unnaturally intense, almost like a glowing digital neon red, making the flower appear flat and artificial. At this point, some people might wonder, doesn't Huawei's second-generation Hongfeng original color system help with accurate colors? Well, it actually did a good job measuring the surrounding color temperature, which is why the green leaves still look very realistic. But when dealing with extremely bright reds, both Huawei and Xiaomi pushed their image processing too aggressively in pursuit of sharpness and vividness. Even Huawei's advanced color system couldn't completely fix the problem. Xiaomi handled the same flower differently. The petals showed stronger depth and layering, giving the image a more three-dimensional look. But the center of the flower turned out blurry and slightly out of focus. At this close distance, Xiaomi's minimum focusing distance clearly isn't ideal for macro-style photography. The large 1.5-inch sensor creates beautiful natural background blur, but the trade-off is a longer focusing distance, and that weakness becomes obvious in close-up shots. So in this extreme close-range comparison, Huawei delivered the sharper image but inaccurate colors, while Xiaomi produced more refined colors but softer focus. And for everyday photography, sharpness is probably the more important factor for most people. The two phones also behave very differently when handling dynamic scenes in atmosphere. Huawei tries to brighten shadow areas, but that approach makes the image slightly grayish and even introduces a small amount of visible noise. However, if you look closely at details like the wall tiles and the outline of the air conditioner unit, the lines remain natural and properly shaped. Huawei's main camera relies heavily on its low-fix single-frame HDR technology to reproduce the scene as realistically as possible. Xiaomi goes in the opposite direction. To keep dark areas looking extra clean, the software processing becomes overly aggressive. The wall textures start looking smeared, almost like watercolor paint, while edges around stairs and surfaces become unnaturally smooth and plasticky. It's a classic case of algorithms trying too hard. Sure, the noise gets cleaned up, but a lot of the natural texture and detail disappears along with it. One extra detail worth mentioning is Huawei's variable aperture design. When shooting bright point light sources, it can easily create natural starburst effects, something fixed aperture smartphone cameras usually struggle to achieve. It actually adds a more traditional photography feel to certain shots. Moving to 2x zoom, which relies on digital cropping from the main camera, both phones continue showing very different styles. Huawei keeps the image bright and clean with softer shadows and lower contrast. Xiaomi sticks with its punchier look, using stronger saturation and noticeable edge sharpening, especially around white text and stitching details. It almost feels like the software is tracing object edges with a pencil to increase the sense of depth and sharpness. Now let's switch over to the telephoto cameras. Huawei offers 4x optical zoom, equivalent to 96mm, while Xiaomi was adjusted to 4.3x zoom, roughly matching 100mm, to make the comparison fair. Since both devices use 200-megapixel telephoto sensors, the overall resolution is very close, and honestly, both perform impressively well. The dog's fur and outlines appear detailed and sharp on both phones. But once again, the rendering style separates them. Huawei produces softer and smoother textures, especially on woven fabrics, giving the image a gentler look. Xiaomi leans harder into contrast and sharpening algorithms, creating a more aggressive and crisp texture appearance. Neither approach is necessarily better, it simply depends on the kind of image style you personally prefer. Finally, let's talk about ISC technology, or in-sensor capture, which plays a huge role in why both phones now rely on 200-megapixel telephoto sensors. Smartphone cameras have physical limitations inside such thin bodies, so manufacturers can't endlessly increase sensor size or add extremely long optical zoom lenses. Instead, ISC technology uses the massive 200-megapixel resolution to crop into the center of the sensor while combining it with super-resolution processing to preserve detail and maintain image clarity at longer zoom ranges. To really test how effective this system is, both phones were zoomed to double their native telephoto focal lengths. Huawei was pushed to 8x zoom, while Xiaomi reached 8.6x. At this level, Huawei showed surprisingly mature computational photography performance. Even after heavy cropping, text and fine lines on the sticker remained impressively sharp and easy to read.
Looking at Xiaomi's photo of the sticker, especially around the blue square and the white lettering, you can clearly see the software working overtime. To squeeze as much detail as possible out of the cropped image, Xiaomi applies extremely aggressive sharpening. The result is that the text edges look overly harsh, and you even start seeing bright white halos forming around the letters. And if that sticker sample still doesn't make the difference obvious enough, this next comparison definitely will. Take a look at these photos of the high-altitude electric bamboo basket, especially the suspended steel cables. In Huawei's image, the cable lines still appear fairly natural. Even after the image is cropped 2x, the thickness and contrast of the cables under sunlight still feel physically realistic. Now compare that with Xiaomi's result. The white edge issue we talked about earlier becomes much more obvious here. Since the cables themselves are already extremely thin, Xiaomi's processing aggressively boosts the edges, creating bright artificial white outlines on both sides of every black cable. The digital enhancement is impossible to ignore. And honestly, this comparison highlights something important. In one of the most commonly used and technically difficult areas of telephoto photography, sensor crop zoom, Huawei's super resolution processing currently delivers a more natural sense of depth and overall visual quality compared to Xiaomi. Once we jump to 30x zoom, things basically turn into a battle of AI processing power. Huawei heavily sharpens the text edges using AI reconstruction, making the strokes appear very clean and organized. Sure, some letters look slightly reshaped, but overall the text still remains recognizable and readable. Xiaomi, however, starts struggling at this zoom level. The edges of larger text become jagged, and the distortion in the strokes gets severe enough to affect readability. Next, let's switch over to full 200-megapixel telephoto mode on both phones. Huawei performs surprisingly well here. If you closely examine the green brush components on the left and bottom side, along with the black brush extending downward, the texture detail and edge definition are incredibly sharp and easy to see. Xiaomi continues relying on its heavy post-processing in darker areas and high-frequency textures. While noise reduction is definitely effective, the downside is major detail loss. The black brush area in particular ends up looking smeared and muddy, almost blending into one large dark shape. On top of that, Xiaomi's shutter speed in 200-megapixel mode is extremely slow. Without a tripod, it becomes very easy to accidentally capture blurry shots. Now let's move into macro photography. Both phones support telephoto macro, but the real-world experience is completely different. Huawei can focus for macro shots at around 5 centimeters away, while Xiaomi requires a much greater focusing distance to lock onto the subject properly. The difference here is huge. To put it simply, Xiaomi really isn't ideal for serious macro photography. Switching to portrait mode, Huawei produces noticeably brighter and smoother skin tones, giving portraits a very polished and eye-pleasing look. Xiaomi takes a more restrained approach to color, while preserving natural facial shadows and highlights, which makes facial features appear more three-dimensional. Honestly, this one comes down to personal preference, so let me know which style you prefer. The front cameras follow the exact same philosophy. Huawei's selfie camera focuses on brightening the complexion and enhancing facial contours for a cleaner look, while Xiaomi emphasizes realistic lighting and natural depth through stronger light and shadow contrast. Now it's time to see how both phones perform in low-light environments. At night, the difference in style becomes even more dramatic. Huawei keeps the lighting natural and controlled, maintaining the realistic mood of nighttime scenes. The shadows stay dark where they should, while bright areas remain balanced, creating a much more atmospheric result overall. Xiaomi goes in a completely different direction. Its priority is pure brightness. The images almost resemble night vision, aggressively lifting dark areas so much that even the ground and leaves start looking like they were shot during the daytime. When it comes to highlight control, Huawei shows some weaknesses. In this photo, the center of the lampshade becomes overexposed and blurry, and there's noticeable flare and fogging spreading into the upper left corner. Xiaomi actually handles this scene much better. The light source inside the lampshade remains clearly defined, without excessive blooming, while surrounding glare and reflections are kept much more effectively. Switching over to the telephoto lens at night, another major difference appears: stabilization. Both photos were taken handheld under street lighting. Huawei performs normally, but Xiaomi's image ends up blurry from camera shake. And this wasn't just a one-time occurrence. The exact same problem appeared again in these truck photos. Even with relatively decent lighting conditions at night, Xiaomi still struggled with blur. A big reason for this is Xiaomi's extremely aggressive slow shutter strategy in night photography. While the main camera can achieve that super bright night vision style, using such slow shutter speeds on a telephoto lens becomes risky. Longer focal lengths are naturally much more sensitive to movement, so the success rate drops significantly. In this next comparison, both phones manage to capture stable images, and here you can really see the difference in their nighttime telephoto processing. Huawei heavily sharpens lines to emphasize resolution, which can sometimes look artificially enhanced. Xiaomi's image appears cleaner and smoother overall, but to achieve that clean look, it also removes many natural lines and textures that should still be visible.
At 10x zoom, the underlying image quality between the two phones becomes much closer. Both start showing obvious digital noise and grain in darker areas, and once you zoom in closely, neither phone can fully preserve fine detail. So after all these comparisons, the Huawei Pura 90 Pro Max clearly focuses on usability and consistency. From the main camera's LOFIC dynamic range system, to its excellent 4x macro performance, to its reliable nighttime shutter behavior, Huawei's computational photography provides a very forgiving shooting experience with a high success rate. Sure, it can occasionally overdo color processing on bright red subjects, and nighttime shots around strong lights can reveal issues like flare and blown highlights. But at the end of the day, when you press the shutter button, you're almost guaranteed to get a sharp, usable image with convincing super resolution detail. And that wraps up this review. If you enjoyed this comparison and felt the testing was fair and helpful, make sure to like the video and follow the channel for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.